Hey, what's up guys? This is me, Nisi of Spoil Me Nisi, back with another video. I hope you're all doing very well. Today I wanted to take a moment and give my 2 cents, my reaction to The Mitchells vs. the Machine, which premiered today on Netflix. I was very excited about this movie because I do enjoy a good kids movie or family movie. Even though I'm in my early 30s, I never quite grew out of that stage where I really like children's movies, and I don't think I ever will. They're very positive. They all have a really good moral message to them, which I think is nice for children and even for adults. So I was really looking forward to this. Because of that, I was also looking forward to this movie because it was about, I guess, people versus machines. And I am a little bit, well, maybe a lot of bit of what some might consider a conspiracy theorist, but I resent that title. But moving on, I do feel like one day, machines could possibly take over the world because we use machines for everything. So this movie coming out, I was like, oh, I can't wait to see it because, it's a kids movie and it's about a topic that I feel is very realistic. So yeah, I'm glad it came out, glad I watched it. So if you haven't already seen it, this video will contain some spoilers, so let's get into it. I really enjoyed this movie. I think it was tastefully done. I think it was funny. I really love the plot. I really love the main character family. I think they were super relatable. I love the characters in the movie. I think they were very diverse. They don't openly mention race at all in this movie, which I love because I'm so tired of race. I'm so tired of it being brought up with everything. Meanwhile, I'm bringing it up in this video, but whatever. I do like how diverse the movie is. I also love how diverse the movie is as far as this family and their personalities. You do see a common theme in this movie of, this family being very quirky, very nerdy, and there is some low self-esteem, in this family, with the main character, the girl, feeling like nobody understands her. She kind of stays off to herself because people feel that she's weird, the son being scared to admit that he likes somebody, and he feels he's weird because he's into dinosaurs. And the mom, she kind of idolizes her neighbors because they seem like the perfect family with their yoga and their, I don't know, all that stuff. Meanwhile, her and her family look like Neanderthals compared to her neighbor's family, and you kind of see them in the movie talk about, how perfect all these other people are while kind of, downing themselves. And then they end up being the ones to save the world from the super evil robots, So I think there was a pretty decent message there for the kids and for people in general. I really did enjoy that. But one thing I want to point out in this movie is that there were certain components to the movie that reminded me of some other things. I don't know if the writers of the movie, were inspired by some other things that I'm going to mention. If they were inspired by these things, they did a really good job at it. So firstly, this gentleman on the screen right here. So in the movie, he's pretty much at fault for the whole robo-apocalypse that took place in the movie. He created this program, which is kind of like an Alexa or a Siri. This program that he created has feelings. Usually in movies, when you see a robot, they don't have feelings, right? Because, in real life, Alexa and Siri, they don't have feelings, but his pal, the name of the program is Pal, actually has feelings, and they have a moment in the beginning of the movie that kind of tugs at your heartstrings a little bit, but then it kind of seems like, why does this robot have feelings? So in the end, technology is good, but technology is bad, of course, and technology is always evolving. So with him having his pal, which is on his phone, pretty much catching feelings and actually forming a love for him, he's still evolving, and he created another program, which is actual robots that cook and clean and pretty much take care of everything for human beings. And when he created that robot to this big group of people in this, I guess, stadium, he takes his pal on the phone and literally tosses it in the trash. Now, mind you, the pal has feelings. It's a computer program with feelings. So naturally, it did not take kindly to being tossed away in the trash for a newer, faster, more efficient robot replacement. So pal on the phone gets mad, goes off, and corrupts the whole system that controls all of the robots. They pretty much go rabid, and it comes up with this plan to get rid of all the humans, put them in these pods, put them in a spaceship, ship them to outer space, where they just float around in outer space, die off, and then the Earth is overtaken by robots. That was the plan of PAL after its little robotic heart was broken by this, ethnic young Steve Jobs kind of guy that's on the screen right now. So I do believe that the writers might have been influenced a little bit by Steve Jobs, or maybe a Bill Gates type or something like that, with his character and what he did in the movie. And this is PAL here. So this is pretty much like the PAL on the phone. And if you notice, PAL looks angry, which is something that a robot shouldn't look, because robots should not have feelings. So that's pretty much what happens, in the movie. So one similarity that I noticed in the movie was with this book called Robopocalypse. I read this book some years ago, and this book reminded me so much of this movie. I noticed a lot of similarities between the two. And the similarities that I noticed between the book and this movie was that in the book Robopocalypse, all of the electronics pretty much came to life. Like people's cars, people's toasters. Like in the book, humans just were not safe at all. The very phone in their hand turned against them. And the book pretty much brings into perspective how much of our lives rely on computers and electronics, because literally, in the book, when all of them came to life, humans were in like the most danger, because even when we don't even realize it, we have computers all around us. So, and that's pretty much what happened in one part of this movie. They were in this mall, and PAL corrupted all of the electronics in the mall, and pretty much everything, washers and dryers, refrigerators, everything came to life and tried to attack them until they managed to, disengage this router that they had in the mall. I don't know. So that part of the movie definitely reminded me of Robopocalypse. Another similarity that I noticed with this movie is with iRobot, because it had the same theme as iRobot. All of the robots become corrupted by a program. They try to hurt people, and then you have one robot that is good and decides to help the humans. That pretty much happened in this movie. All of the robots went rogue. 2 robots, had feelings, and they were nice, and they actually helped the humans to fight back. And then in some odd way, this movie did put me in the mind of Terminator a little bit. Now, Terminator is very, very, very violent. Really, this movie was violent when you really think about it, even though it's a kids movie, but it's not as violent as Terminator. Terminator was very violent, and there were so many Terminator movies that came out, but there was another common theme with Terminator as well, where the robot that was Arnold Schwarzenegger was bad, and then there was this other guy that turned out to be a robot that came to help them. And then later on down the line, Terminator movies came out where Arnold Schwarzenegger's robotic character was actually good, and he was trying to help save the humans. So those are just some things that I noticed with the movie, where I saw some similarities between other things. So I really like the moral message in the movie. I like the fact that the movie was pretty much about underdogs, people that weren't that popular, that didn't really have, they didn't really feel they had much of an important place in regular society. They were quirky, they were nerdy, and it turns out they were a lot stronger and smarter than they thought they were in the movie, because the people that they thought were so cool, not that they weren't cool, but they just weren't the ones to save everybody in the world. It turns out that the main characters were much smarter and better than they thought they were. Another moral lesson in the movie was with the main character and her dad. She wanted to go to California College of Film to pursue her dreams of being a content or movie creator, and her dad did not support her dreams because he just didn't understand her art, and that created a wedge between the two of them, and they had to meet at like some sort of common ground with each other to kind of break whatever that was destroying their relationship. And at the end of the movie, their relationship was patched up. They both had to compromise a little bit, and it turns out they are a lot alike, and maybe that's the reason why they didn't get along for all that time. So I really like that about the movie. Another thing that I liked about this movie is how the mom, she wasn't super strong until it came to a point where she had to defend her child, which is true. Women go into like beast mode when it comes time for them to like defend their kid, and I thought that was kind of cool how they did it in this movie. So, all in all, there were like a lot of things that I liked about the movie. The only thing I can think of that I didn't like about the movie is it was so long. Now, I don't know if maybe I just have a short attention span, but I feel that any movie that's over 90 minutes needs to be like a lot better. Not to say that this movie wasn't good. This was an excellent movie. I think that a lot of people should watch it. You'll enjoy it. But after a while, it becomes so long and drug out that it does kind of get boring at some point. Like once the end of the movie came, me and my kids were like, great. It took so long to get to that point that it was just like they could have taken out some scenes and just shortened this down to like a 90-minute movie, and that would have been sufficient to get every message across that they meant to get across. So yeah, the length of the movie was way too long for my liking. So that's the only criticism that I have about this movie. So that's all, folks, for this reaction. If you haven't already done so, make sure you like my video and share the video. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I invite you to do so. There are a lot more things coming soon, a lot more ideas swirling around, a lot more things to come. And make sure you hit the notification button so that when I make a video, you are notified. So until next time, peace.